Pattaya, Pattaya and the eastern seaboard of Thailand. This is the world famous Jock and Doc show, and this is the first one for 2016. With me is someone we have spoken to before, and it did his business a power of good. David Nardone, the CEO and everything else of Hemorrhage. What's 2016 going to bring for you?
Thanks very much first for having me and making me so lucky with all your support. I think 2016 is challenging for everyone. The global economy is a little bit slower. We have our own challenges in Thailand. Automotive sector, the local market has been slower. In 2016, we have slightly higher taxes based on the emissions and the fuel efficiency of cars, and it's going to make the local market harder. Exports have been, some growth in the past couple of years, but trading seems to be a lower level. So for us, we're being a little bit cautious. We're lucky that we have a good income from our rental buildings, from our power plants, from our water utility business. So we had a really good year in 2015, even in somewhat the same economy, because we got the Shanghai Automotive investment on the MG product and Toyota transmission plant, AI Group, and a big electronic business. So in the end, we came through okay. But this year, I think it's going to be challenging for everyone. We have to be careful and manage our business closely. We're still optimistic on the investment conditions and the willingness of the government incentives and such, but not sure if the economy is there.
I think that the emissions thing is going to be very difficult for them to police. Because, all right, the pickup trucks are the ones, and they're full of pigs in the back, all farting away. So it's not the exhaust emissions that they're measuring, it's the pigs.
Well, I was tempted to say you're someone to talk about emissions. What I would like to ask you, David, to backtrack.
It's going to be a comedy show.
One thing that we touched on 2 years ago, actually, it was at the Holiday Inn, we talked about the advent of ASEAN and having this open door policy, and you were saying there was different things happening and it was all kind of proactive and all the indicators were there.
Yeah.
But we've now arrived. This has been 70 years in the planning. Has anything changed?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone is looking at the end of 2015 like the switch would turn and that everything is going to be better the next week. It really doesn't work that way. For us in the manufacturing sector, ASEAN works pretty well right now because you can trade among countries and the duties in general are a little bit low. But, whether you're going to have the liberalization, like is Vietnam in 2018 going to take duty-free pickups and passenger cars from Thailand? I'm really skeptical, frankly, because they want their own business also. So part of ASEAN is more movement of labor, more investment over the border, and better interconnectivity in terms of infrastructure and logistics. If some of that happens, I'm happy. I think manufacturing works okay. And at least for us, our surrounding countries, CLMV, they're growing quicker than we are. So there's some opportunity for us, whether we're on the other side of the border in Thailand. I think both of those are okay. Yeah, but don't expect some miracle. These are taking a long time, and people have their own sort of entrenched positions, and this is not EU by any means. This is much more market that has different products, and it's not that integrated. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Maybe 5 years, the same issue.
Well, maybe. Anything else, Doc?
No,
Okay.
he's covered it all.
All right, well, he's covered it all. And we should say that we're here in the grounds of the Amari, and we're here for the Joint Chamber of Commerce. And tonight it's a braai, which means that it's the South Africans. You do your South African impersonation.
The South Africans?
No, South African.
South
Can
African.
you do an impersonation?
I don't think so.
Okay. By the way, have you got any resolutions for 2016?
No, not at all.
I thought, Doc, you might try and be humorous.
Oh, aren't you clever, Paul?
What was it? What we talked about 10 years ago. All right, stay tuned here at the Amari. We'll speak to more of tonight's sponsors of this wonderful event. Thank you very much.
I'm pretty new here to the friend club. Everybody knows each other. Welcome to the Amari Pattaya for tonight. I hope you're enjoying the food. I hope you enjoy the company. Thank you for choosing us as a venue. We hope to see you all back. Unfortunately, I don't know many of you yet, but I will try my best for the coming 12 months to regularly visit your events. And by that time, next year, if you're back here again, I hope to know you all personally. Have a nice evening. I hope you enjoy it, and see you soon. Thanks.
Brother Paul, we managed it. We went straight to the top.
We have.
Yep. Always talk to the butcher and not the block. Right? Now,
Something like that.
we have with us Rob Reinders. Now, he's one of these strange Dutch people, and they stick J's in their name, and which are not pronounced, and quite impossible. And he's got a title, a job title, which goes on for about 30 seconds.
Okay, all right.
Give
And
it.
it is.
And it is.
Drum
And it
roll.
is. Well, basically, I'm the GM of the Amari Padia, and I look after the Eastern Seaboard. So they call me Area GM, and because of age, they call me also Senior Vice President of Onex.
So how many hotels are you actually looking after?
At the moment, we have this one here where the party is, and we have another 6 from the Nova Group, which are non-branded hotels. The Amari Residence on Patamnak, which is being built at the moment, and the Nova Express, which is also being built. So altogether, it's about 7, 8.
Okay.
How are you going to be able to look after all them? It's more than one a day per week. Now, I'm sorry, you may be Dutch, but you can't do this.
He delegates. He's an old school.
Yeah, right. No, it's about creating a great team. We have good people doing that. 2 GMs here for the openings of the Patamnak one. We have an Australian colleague, Martin Kunzman, who does that. And for the whole Nova Group, I have Max Saraki, an old colleague, young guy, but an old colleague who looks after the whole Nova Group of Ronnie.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
I only
we
have
know
to
Max,
do
yeah.
this here.
Okay.
This is
So-
the easy part.
So you just turn up, just press the flash. And
Yeah,
have
I
a
just
glass
tell
of
them
wine.
how are we going, and then they said, yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
All right. Listen,
And they tell me that Monday mornings are hell.
Monday mornings is when I'm really a little bit bitchy. Yeah.
yeah, I can imagine.
We've heard all
Now,
this.
I mentioned that because you've actually been in the hospitality sector for a long, long time. I was black when life was in black and white, right? When you started in hospitality.
When we did listen to the radio.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, that's it. Okay, tell me, last year was very challenging for many businesses in Thailand. How has the hospitality sector? How have they had to change to deal with or to embrace new markets? And what are your new markets? What do you see as the challenges and opportunities for 2016?
Well, of course, the Russian market was very important to Padia in particular, with the ruble and the whole devaluation which went with it.
The ruble turned to rubble.
So a lot of hotels suffered. Looked for other markets, mainly in Asia. So the volume is still coming out of India, China, Korea a bit. So everybody is now trying to buy business, which is not a good trend, to be honest. But occupancies did not suffer too much, but rates are under pressure, and as such, everybody is trying to do its best to recover from that. The Russians are coming back slowly now, so that's light at the end of the tunnel, but it is at a lower yield, and therefore we hope that within the next 12 to 18 months we see a return of that market as well. I think Asia is where the future is, where everybody, and the local market, of course. Don't forget the local market is 1.5 hours, the domestic market is 1.5 hours away. So the hotels which do well in the local market have a little bit of an edge.
And what your experience for Pattaya compared to Bangkok, because I know you've had your finger on the pulse in Bangkok for a long time, is it the same, or is it? I always get the feeling that Bangkok is actually kind of in a way more competitive.
I think just by supply and demand, we have a lot of supply here in terms of hotel rooms, which over the years Pattaya has changed. I mean, I came in Pattaya '81, then it was totally only driven by wholesale business, tourists. And then over the years this has developed into more corporate business. Pattaya has grown obviously, but not only Pattaya has grown, Lemshabang, Rayong, and the Eastern Seaboard has grown. So the corporate business became a much more important segment for most of the hotels, and that's when all these international chains moved in, right? So when we started in '81, we were only a few local chains. Amari is a local chain, which has gone the other way. We have gone international since the last 5 years, right? So competition has heated up. To answer your question, is it different? I think the corporate market in Bangkok was always there. We have benefited from the last 15 years of a very healthy growth in corporate, but they also suffer. The car industry suffers a bit, and with that, I guess people start to tighten the belt and don't spend as much anymore for entertainment. The real estate business is a big part of entertainment business, restaurants. There again, if everybody has to tighten the belt, we in the hospitality, we feel that very badly.
Good. He means the belt here, not the fan belt, Doc.
No.
Sorry.
Oh, you managed to get a joke in. Go. Pretty poor one, but never mind. Rob, what's your plan for 2016 in a nutshell with your huge number of responsibilities?
Well, I think 2016, if I talk to my colleagues, it will be a challenging year. We come out of not a great year, but we did well last year, considering the market. We feel that 2016 has its own challenges. So for me, is to create a growth, a healthy growth, but a modest growth. And to see how we can adapt to these new Asian markets, because traditionally we were all geared to Europe. The Asian markets are rather new to us. The Indian market is quite challenging in terms.
Goodness me, we know what it's like.
It's not always that easy, definitely not. And I guess also the Chinese market in itself, mainland China, the FIT markets are easier to handle because they come in smaller numbers. But once you have a big hotel like ours here with over 500 rooms, and you put volume in there, the individual traveler feels very often quickly overwhelmed. So to balance that out, to keep your individual clients happy with a big, wonderful garden in a pool, and to integrate in that a few groups who sometimes have different values and jump in with their clothes on and the likes, it's not always easy. So the big picture is try to keep the business going in a healthy, profitable way. Keep the staff employed. Keep the guest, particularly the guest, happy. All segments of the guest happy, and hope that better times are around the corner.
And tell all the ladies to take their clothes off before they jump in the pool.
Oh, that's not too difficult in Pattaya because everybody has the clothes off anyway. But now talking about that, that's another challenge maybe which we want to address. We were talking about the North Pattaya Alliance at one stage because we wanted to project ourselves a bit as a part of the North Pattaya Alliance away from the entertainment part of Pattaya,
Right.
that we have tried for the last 35 years to try to get Pattaya a bit in a more serious view for families. Partly that has succeeded because we have great entertainment now also for kids and for families. The water park, cultural is slowly picking up. We have some nice sightseeing, even with Nong Not and so. But still, let's say the English market or the traditional markets out of Europe, they still are stuck with this, call it seediness or the entertainment part, where they say, well, Pattaya is only for old geezers like us, like me.
But there's another part to this. I mean, okay, Pattaya's trying to promote itself as a family destination.
It is.
And there's great hotels like yourself and your stablemates now next door and down the road.
Yep.
But if someone comes out your hotel and tries to walk with a buggy with a child in it on this side of the beach, they will break the wheels on their buggy within 10 minutes because City Hall has not done their job and built the infrastructures to support all these wonderful hotels and this massive upsurge in tourism in the last 10 years. That's my moan over, but I just think it's absolutely serious.
Yeah. Don't get off your bike. I'll pick up your pump.
No, I think I mean, of course, there is always budgets involved. I think city government for a newcomer, as myself now, it's maybe too early to judge that. But I see gradual improvements, even by City Hall, and they had challenges just recently with floodings, which need to be addressed, and so on, so on, so. But I think overall the private sector has done a great job in remodeling the Paddy of the 80s into the Paddies of the 90s, and we make gradual progress. Maybe not as much as everybody would like to, but that's all a matter of money and investment.
Yeah. Sure. My favorite Latin phrase, festina lente, hasten slowly.
Nice and slowly.
Nice and slowly.
Nice and slowly.
All right.
Hasten slowly.
Hasten slowly. Okay. Right. Well, let's hasten to our next interview. Shall we?
Indeed. Let's do it. Rob, thank you
very much.
Yes.
Paul, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Hope to see you soon. Thanks very much.
All the way brought here by popular demand from Myanmar is Kevin Fisher, the head Sharang of CEA, which stands for Cranes and Equipment Ace. Yes.
Affectionately known as CEA Project Logistics.
I see. Right. So, how's 2016 looking? What have you got in the pipeline?
2016 is going to be challenging, Doc,
That's the word where you used that before. You shouldn't do that. They seize on this.
It is. It's going to be challenging. 2015 was challenging, but we're still here. Conrad's got slightly less here.
This is your financial officer.
He's my financial officer. But no, I think 2016. Look, we've started off fairly well. We got a few things in the pipeline. So hopefully we can pull them over the line and keep moving forward. I mean, we've got a lot of guys depend on us,
Sure. One of the things that I remember that it was in the Paddy Mail and many other media, including the Bangkok media, was this project you were involved with the new trains for the new Purple Line, I think it was, in Bangkok. Yeah. Give us a little snapshot of what CEA did for that.
Mind the doors.
Mind the doors.
Yeah, mind the doors.
Mind the gap.
The next station's Tong Law. The next station is Tong Law. No, it's a new station.
I'm on my way to Charing Cross.
Yeah.
All right, carry on.
No. So what happened, we got involved with the Purple Line from the very early stages, bringing in smaller items, and then obviously we developed it into the trains. So the trains get delivered from Japan. We do the customs clearance, etc., etc. They move into my yard, and then we haul 3 at a time up overnight. Obviously with police escorts and all the finalia. They get to the Purple Line, and then we have the special jacking equipment that lifts them. Our trailers pull out. We drop it onto the tracks. My guys, their guys, and everybody else shoots, has a look. We're all happy, and then we can go away, and the next night we take the next 3. I think we're down to the last 20-odd trains.
So how many?
There was 63. Yeah, so it's been a great job for us. It's gone really well. We've no injuries, no damage. The Thai police have been very accommodating with their escorts, so it's been very good for us.
Sure. Okay. All right.
So obviously there's a few more train projects coming online according to the press. So obviously we'll be having a look and like everybody else, see what we can do.
See
You
what
know.
you can get.
Yeah.
And what about, Doc mentioned Myanmar. This is something that you kind of got in on the ground floor a few years ago, but it's been a slow build, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And is it starting to bear fruit now, or?
Yeah, I mean Myanmar is it's been
Challenge?
no. There's a word you got to be put in front of that. Exceptionally challenging. I mean, some of the rules and regulations there are so way out of date and hard to fathom.
Right.
For example, right now we've got a client. He needs one of our forklifts, and for the whole month of January, there's no import licenses being given out. So we can't do nothing. We can't book a ship. We can't put the machine on anything because we can't get the import license. Come February the 1st, they lift the hatches up. Oh, there you go. There's your import license.
Right.
And you know, it's sort of bang.
So it's just a kind of historical type thing that they've
Yeah,
done, and
they've done.
that's it. Everybody accepts it.
Everybody.
And you'll accept it next year. You'll forget it.
Well, see what the thing is with it. If we'd have known about this in December, you can go and get the import licenses
Sure.
for working and operating through January.
Okay.
But obviously, because for the other 12 months of the year, we've been just going there, getting our import license, going back the next day, collecting it, and there's been no problem. So off we trotted in January. Knock, knock, knock.
Yeah.
Sorry, no import licenses. So these are the sort of challenges we have there. John Hamilton, as you know, is my country manager there. He's doing a very good job. Adrian Zonneveld has just moved over there full time with him. Adrian's feeling his feet and settling in. So yeah, it's now starting to move again after the elections with the lady in charge. But I think still things will be slowly. But as you said, I was in there at Ground Zero, and we've built on that.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Actually, it's interesting because people often get a little bit fed up with some of the challenges of working in Thailand, but they're everywhere, aren't they? And you know, it's the same in Australia, of course. You know.
Well, the other thing is as you know, have a small operation down in Songkhla, and we wanted to bring one of our 5-ton forklifts out of Myanmar and send down back into Songkhla. I mean, obviously, because it was exported from Thailand, we can import it without a problem.
Yeah.
But now we've got a massive undertaking in Myanmar to try and move the forklift out. Although we brought it in full import, paid the duties, they have this little quirky law that once it's in, it doesn't go out. It's in. It doesn't go out, you know. And all these things just keep coming out of the woodwork. And then they'll tell you to do something. You ask, where's the legal documents for that? Oh no, that's the way it's always been. Well, there must be a document. No. That's how it always is.
All right. Okay.
Kevin, this has been a very challenging interview.
Extremely challenging, but with lots of opportunities.
Yeah, I bet you've heard that all night, haven't you? Is that a word you've been hearing all night? Yeah. Sorry. I think we should all be in the Parliament building. Anyway, it's great to see you guys. Hello, Padia. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to speak
God
to
bless.
a couple more guys here at the Joint Chamber, hosted by the South Africans.
South African.
Can you do South African accents?
South African.
Can you? Okay. All right, stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, if it wasn't for the sponsors, you could not have what you're having tonight. So a wee bit of hush for just a couple of minutes, please, so we can give due thanks to those who have helped you enjoy tonight. Now, there are quite a few sponsors to thank. So reading from my right to left, Patia Realty, Stuart, thank you very much. David Nardone has always been a big supporter of these events with Hemerart. Thank you very much to him too. Standard Bank, a very well-known local insurance company called McAllen's. Many thanks to Jack, Noy and all the staff. All About Wine from Florian Cruz. Jones the Grocer, which is has Brenton, the new OzCham president, as a sponsor and a shareholder. CM Winery, and of course Big Kevin, or not so big Kevin these days, Kevin Fisher from CEA. But the main sponsor of the night is Bromsgrove International School, who have been very generous with what they've given us. They supported us again last year, and I'd just like to ask Matthew, the deputy head from Bromsgrove, to come on stage and say a few words. So if you could keep it down for a couple of minutes out of courtesy, that would be lovely. Matthew.
Thank you very much, Graham. On behalf of Bromsgrove International School, we are absolutely delighted to support the South African Thai Chambers event this evening. It's great to be here on this wonderful January evening, and we're delighted to be a part of this fantastic event. As many of you will know, Bromsgrove International School Thailand is increasingly becoming the school of choice in Bangkok and in the wider region. We are proud to have some of the most innovative and exciting and student-centered learning in the whole of the Fabisia and Southeast Asian region, and we are proud to parade ourselves here for you today. Most excitingly of all, for the Eastern Seaboard, we have some of the best boarding in the whole of Asia, and we are delighted that flocks of Eastern Seaboard kids are coming up to us for our 5-day boarding provision every single week. In honour of which we are now proud to offer a free bus service for any Eastern Seaboard kids who want to come and experience the best of British boarding in Asia. So it's a delight to be here today. Thank you Graham for welcoming us here, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much.
Right, Paul.
Yes.
You found another important person for us to interview.
This guy represents the most important company here tonight, because they are the prime or the lead sponsor, which is Bromsgrove International School. And his name is Matthew Savage.
I wonder what the kids call you.
Many, many things indeed.
Sir, I should imagine.
Tell us a little bit then, tell all those people in there a little bit about Bromsgrove.
Bromsgrove is, I guess, the new kid on the block in international education in Bangkok. Yep. But we're increasingly becoming the school of choice. And kids from around Thailand and indeed across ASEAN are coming to Bromsgrove because we do something different. We do something quite cutting edge and something really, really fresh.
I see. So you're teaching Swahili?
Well, not quite yet, but anything's possible in the future.
I should have forewarned you, just ignore his questions. So what is it? What is it that makes you different to the other international schools?
I think we're small and friendly enough to be personal. There are many schools around Bangkok that have 2,000 plus kids. We've got 400 kids, and we know every single individual inside out and back to front. Right. So when you're sending your kid off to school, you want to know they're going to be treated as an individual. Right. And many schools pretend they do that. We actually do.
Right. What years do you start and where do you finish?
Our kids join us from the age of 2 right up to the age of 18 before they go off for their various university challenges.
Right. Okay. All right. Tell me, you mentioned outside of Thailand as well. Is that a big part of your business? That's an emerging market for you, or?
Yeah, we're increasingly international, both from Europe, from across ASEAN, from Russia, as we try to give our Thai kids and our international kids as rich a cultural heritage as we possibly can. And our boarding now is growing all the time. We have amongst the best boarding provision in the whole of Asia. We have one of the biggest boarding provision within Thailand, and we have many, many kids coming up from Pattaya in the Eastern Seaboard to spend 5 days with us before they go home for the weekend.
That'd do you, Paul.
Well, it would rather. I'll get thrown off the bus though. Actually, you do put on buses, don't you?
We do, yeah. We now offer a free bus for kids who want to come up from Pattaya in the region up to Bangkok. So we offer a free bus on a Sunday evening, and then we drop them back on a Friday evening, and they can spend the weekends with their families.
Okay.
What happens if the families don't want them?
Then we offer 7-day boarding, which we're finding is increasingly popular as well.
Funnily enough, that's because the kids like me when I was at school. Anyway, right now, our boss, Peter Malhotra from Pan Am Mail, he said that there was a little project that he was working with you guys with.
Yeah, it's very exciting. We're trying as a school to give back. and we're working very closely with Peter and the Pattaya Mail on a groundbreaking new scholarship scheme, which will offer 2 underprivileged kids from Pattaya, from the city, the chance to have free schooling with us in Bromsgrove, the best of British boarding in the whole of the world, and on the ticket of Pattaya Mail. So we're proud to have that collaboration with Peter and the newspaper to give a chance to kids who may otherwise not have it.
Wow, that's great actually. I mean, he just said make sure you ask him about it, but I didn't realise it was so fully fledged. That's amazing.
It'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
You see,
You could squeak in there, Paul. You know.
we'd have to look at your application very carefully, I
Well,
think.
listen, I certainly need some education, so the need is there, my boy. All right, so what about 2016? Is it same as last year for you guys, or is it some new plans, some new developments, or what's going on?
I think we're just trying to spread the word. We have the most consistently high teaching and learning across the whole of the city. I know that.
Yeah.
So the next year we're spreading the word, we're sharing our story, and we will see more and more people discovering that Bromsgrove is the way forward.
Right. How do you go with all these exams that they have to do in Thailand, this O-Net and things like this?
How do we go with the O-Net and all sorts of exams? Well, we're a British school, so our kids do A-levels at 18, they do their IGCSEs at 16, and they go off to some of the best universities throughout the world with the gold standard of British education. So our kids are examined, but from an international context.
Okay. So do you get involved with the International Baccalaureate program? Or?
We're not an IB school. We're
Okay.
proud of our British roots.
Okay.
But what we offer, the A-level is throughout the world known as the gold standard of post-16 education. And so our kids go off to, we've had an admission to Cambridge this year, to Oxford University last year, with A-levels from our school, enabling them to have that access, which is fantastic.
Great. That's great.
Yeah.
Really very good. Very good. Well, obviously you guys are doing all the right things. When were you established? Because you said you're the new kid on the block.
We sort of are. We have very historic roots. We are a sister school to Bromsgrove UK, which is almost 500 years old.
Yeah.
But we, as a Thai international school...
Some of the kids must be bloody old by now. You'd think they'd graduate.
And I'm glad I didn't pay for the scholarship.
But we, as an international school, we've been around for about 10 years.
All right, okay.
So we're fresh enough to have that energy, but we got those roots that give us that real tradition.
Okay. All right, listen, Doc, I think we're going to wind up tonight. We've spoken to lots of very interesting people, including yourself, sir.
You just scraped in, but don't worry about it.
We didn't get a chance to speak to, I think it's Mogio, which are a catering company that are sponsored tonight. Also, Stuart Daly from Paddy Realty, who are a sponsor tonight. Our thanks to Kev Fisher from CA, David Nardone from Hemorrhage. There was also another company. Who's the health company that you were going to try and speak to? What's their name?
Something Cross.
The name escapes him. There you go. Yeah.
Pacific Cross.
Pacific Cross. So thanks to them, because without them these events don't happen, and it's great that it happens, and it all happens here, not every month, but tonight at the Amari. And as you know, we spoke to the new GM earlier. So that's me. I'm going to sign off. You say good night.
All right then. It's good night from him, and good night from me, and good night from him.
Good night.
Right. See you, Pattaya.